Hello everyone, today I've decided to make a Breyer barn tutorial on how to make one for these types of Breyers. Okay, so the reason why I've kind of decided to make a barn for these small kind of types of Breyers and not for the full grown, larger scale, I guess, hand painted ones is because I'm getting a lot of these now because when you buy a Breyer, it can just be a normal Breyer or a Pacific Breyer that's like a special event, or I don't know. It's a new Breyer that they've released. They sometimes offer gifts to be given away or little prizes. And you can even get these if you buy multiple Breyers. Like, if you go over a certain set amount of money, like I don't know, $30 or something, Breyers, you get a free gift or prize. Sometimes you get multiple gifts, like 2 or 3 or something. Like they can be keyrings or notebooks or something. But what I've noticed is that most of these gifts tend to be these sort of miniature Breyer customs. I don't know what their real names are. I call them miniature Breyer customs because they're still Breyers. The molds are kind of still the same. Like the molds are very I think they're the same. If not the same, they're very similar. I'm not exactly sure on the details on how they make these, but they're very similar, and I think they are the same because with this mold I've seen on a large Breyer, the normal size ones, like the larger ones, like maybe this big or something. Um, I've seen the molds used, and I've definitely seen this sort of mold. But yeah, that's the only difference is that the molds are smaller. And I'm getting quite a lot of these now because, like I said, when you buy them, you often enough you get these as the free gift. And they're custom, so you can go paint them yourself. I mean, you can get paints for these. You can buy the kits on the website to paint these yourself. And you can get them as kits. You can get larger ones, but the free gifts that they give away, they're this size, and you're supposed to paint them yourself. I got these two around October, September time. And I got this one around Christmas, December-ish. And this is for a competition, and you're supposed to paint it all yourself, and then you're supposed to send it off. I can't remember what the prize was. I think it was either that got turned into an actual Breyer. I can't remember. And it came with this coloring thing as well that you're supposed to color it. So basically, the main reason why, like I said, I'm getting a lot of them now. And also for storage reasons, because I think I'm kind of wasting these because, I'm just storing these really nice gifts. They're really nicely handcrafted and crafted or whatever. I just store them on shelves, and I think that's a little bit wasteful. So recently I tried to add them to my barn, but it looked a bit odd because they were kind of just, I couldn't put them in the larger stalls because they were just too big for them. So I kind of let them just like wander around the barn stable thing, but it kind of looked odd because in real life you wouldn't have horses just casually wandering around a stable without like any kind of supervision or something, just like out and about, and like they were just kind of random places, and it just looked a bit odd. So I decided to make a barn for them. Okay, so recently it has been Easter, and I decided to use the boxes to make a barn for these. And choosing the right type of box is actually very, very important because you don't want a huge box because it will over swamp them. And by that I mean it will just look odd, like these really tiny horses inside a big barn. It will just look really silly. You could use lollipop sticks. You could make a really small one out of lollipop sticks or something like that. Popsicle sticks, whatever you call them. So yeah, deciding on the right box is very, very important because you don't want a huge one And you don't want a really small one because, again, that will look odd, like a really small barn compared to the rest of your Breyer stuff that you probably already got, and that will look a bit strange. So choosing the right box is very, very important. Like, so. You don't want to choose like a shoebox or anything like that because it can be a little bit hard to cut. And if you're going to order more Breyers, you don't really want to waste or spend a lot of time on like trying to cut out really difficult boxes and then find yourself having more of these, and then you're going to have to make another barn for them. I would suggest making one barn, and then if you happen to get more of these, make a small pasture. Keep some out, and then just swap them around to see which ones you want to keep in the stable and which ones you want to keep out, sort of thing. And by the pasture, you don't need to make like a huge one, just a reasonably kind of smallish one, I guess. So yeah. So you need sort of this. I would recommend this size box, but it really doesn't matter. It does depend on how many you've got. I wouldn't, like I already said, use a shoebox or a big box because you really don't need a big box for this. Roughly one around this size. Even if you have more than I do, I would still recommend this size of box because, like I said, you can just swap them around. And yeah, so you really don't need to worry about all that. So, yeah, so what you need to make that is obviously the box. I just talked about that really quickly. You're obviously going to need paints. You can use whatever kind of paints you like. You could use a variety of paints. You could use as many paints as you want. You could use oranges, reds, whatever. I wouldn't use more than maybe 2 or 3 colors for the actual barn itself. But if you want to paint any extra elements like feed buckets or shelving, then be free to use a variety of different paints. I've already painted my Easter egg box, as you can see, Easter egg box, just for time. I painted it in this whitish sort of creamy color, which was this one here, and it's called Dorn Light, and it's a really nice color, but you can paint it obviously brown. It just depends on the kind of color scheme or the colors of your barn, of your main barn. See, my main barn is kind of white, I guess, so I kind of painted it this color to kind of just match with it. You're also going to need paintbrushes to do this. You're going to need a thick brush like this, just so it's quicker to paint. So you can just literally go like that in a couple of brush strokes, and it's painted. And you're going to need a smaller paintbrush like this, so you can paint details. You really don't need to go out and buy a new, I don't know, extra fine brush, just whatever sort of brush you can find. I wouldn't go over this type of thickness of the brush though, if you don't want it too thick. You could also use paint palettes like this, or you could use like an empty yogurt pot or something. And this is just actually very helpful, so you can, if you're using a variety of different paints, you can do like a blob of each paint in each kind of hole, and that's just easier to, instead of opening up pots and kind of just having to go back to each pot, the colors are all kind of there. You're going to need a glue. Again, you can add the glue to this pot if that's easier for you to apply. I'm using a high-tack glue, but I would recommend a PVA glue. You could use a high-tack glue if you like. High-tack glue is good, like this, very sticky. It's good, but I would really use PVA because that's kind of my favorite type of glue. You're also going to need a second box. I'm using a cereal box, and the reason for that is because if you want to add different extra components to the barn, just knocking everything over. Yeah, like I said, if you want to add extra components to the barn, like a roof or shelving or whatever, you're gonna need a box, an extra box. I'm just using a cereal box. You could use I don't know, tea bag box, whatever. The box itself already kind of has a roof, and that's what I'm using as my roof. This sort of area here. But if you want to add like an extra roof, so it kind of adds loft space. So you can put feed buckets up there. It's kind of like loft space or roofing space. So you don't have to actually put the shelving inside. You're gonna need a pencil. I recommend pencil rather than a pen because when you're drawing on the doors, if you make a mistake, you can obviously rub it off. Without pen, you're gonna have to kind of paint over again, which can be annoying. You're gonna need some scissors, whatever kind of scissors you like. I would recommend long scissors that are sharp, so it's easier to cut through the boxes and stuff. You're gonna need a ruler. It doesn't really matter what kind of ruler you use. I'm using a metal ruler just because it's kind of sturdier for me to use personally. And so this is kind of a what do you need video, so I don't have to kind of explain it all again in the next video. And for the box, you're gonna need some sellotape as well, because obviously you want to eat the chocolate inside, or if it was a box that contained something, you obviously had to open it somehow. So you want to use some sellotape to just stick down the top of the box, which is what I use. I use the sellotape just along here to use. If you don't have any sellotape, just use glue. But again, if you are going to use sellotape, make sure that your paint is thick enough to go over sellotape and it's not gonna be resistant, as I know some paints won't go over sellotape because they're just too thin and too watery that they don't go over. But don't worry, if you really like your paint and you know it won't do that though, just use glue to glue down the top of the box. Okay, so that's basically your first step. You need to glue down the top of the box, paint the box one color. I'm going to go paint this side, or the bottom of the box now. And I just basically left the bottom of the box so the sides and the top could all dry before I painted the bottom, otherwise there would be an awful lot of paint on the table. So that's what you kind of need to do. If your box has a hole on the top like mine, see, mine has a hole. That's just where the Easter egg used to be. And if you're using a tissue box or something like that, a hole will be there as well. But I'm still going to use this as the top of my barn because I kind of like that hole so I can kind of see into the barn. Like I don't have to kind of open up the doors. I can just kind of see through that hole. I can see what's kind of going on and stuff. I don't know. And yeah, that's basically the video. I am sorry for any kind of bad audio or shaking of the camera. I'm using a webcam because my camera's run out of storage and I don't really want to delete anything. So I'm sorry for any like wobbling or audio. Be sure to check out my next video where I'll be showing you the next step. And I'm sorry if this video is a bit long because I'm just kind of talking about equipment. But the reason why I kind of dedicated the first part of this series to the equipment is so that I don't have to keep repeating myself at the beginning of every single video describing to you what you need. This is kind of just a collection of everything that you need throughout the whole series that we're going to do together. So I hope that you guys like this, and I hope that when I release my second video, you're all going to go watch that, because it's going to be really good, and it's going to be out soon. I'm going to kind of release them all at the same time, so it'll probably be out by the same time this one is. And in that time, be sure to find a box, paint it, glue down the side, and that's literally the first step that you need. So just get to the stage, do the top, and paint. That's all you're gonna need. And find a box. And get your equipment ready. So happy Breyer barn making. If you want to go ahead and kind of you have a rough idea what you're going to do now, you can do that all by your means. But be sure to, like I said, watch my next videos as they're going to be explaining what to do next. So thank you for watching and goodbye.